Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the greatest show on earth, KLA Cloud Wanderer. And I have a guest. Her name is Monica Cahalan.
Cahalan.
Cahalan. Okay,
Yeah.
Cahalan. I'm not
Yeah, it's
really
hard
good
to
at names some at times, so you gotta forgive me.
don't
But
sweat it.
but it's a pleasure for you to be here. And yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a busy time right now just because we're getting ready to host a powerlifting meet next weekend. And so just kind of a lot of last minute stuff. And it's been a busy season, but overall, really good.
Okay. So you're a powerlifting coach?
Yep. Yes, I
Or
am.
how long you been doing powerlifting and
Um,
being a powerlifting coach?
Sure. I've been doing powerlifting for about 9 years and been a coach for 4, I believe, and just kind of fell into it. Actually, I fell into it because of a couple of junior lifters that had been training at the gym and they decided to sign up for a powerlifting meet. And I was like, we can't just like do a powerlifting meet without knowing what the heck you're doing. Like they were like seniors in high school and they were friends of my daughter. And so I thought like, well, shoot, I've been doing this long enough and I really have like a heart for helping others. So I thought, this would be a good test run of seeing how, putting these kids through a rudimentary prep and testing it out and seeing, how I felt about it. And it was such a rewarding, fulfilling experience that it just kind of everything just kind of snowballed from there. And it's been awesome. I really
Oh,
enjoyed being a coach.
so you mostly teach young people?
Actually, I would say I primarily have women, but they're of all different ages. So actually it's a pretty good spread. I have a couple of juniors. So in powerlifting, that's anywhere from teenagers to like 22, 24, and then they're in the open class. And I have a couple of individuals in the open class. And then I have quite a few women in their like 40s, 50s, and 70s.
Okay.
And that's really fun in its own right, too. So I feel like I am pretty fortunate. I've got a great spread of women that are ready to work hard.
The oldest person you train for powerlifting?
72, and she's actually a bodybuilder, so she doesn't
Oh yeah.
compete in powerlifting, but I'm helping her build a better butt and hamstrings and back. And powerlifting is a really great off-season training stimulus for bodybuilders. So I really enjoy kind of getting to it's like a side quest in powerlifting, so to speak, because I'm not really coaching her for powerlifting, but I get to utilize the things that I know in powerlifting to help her build some better tissue. So that's
Yeah.
really fun. And she's a pro IFBB pro bodybuilder. Um, and so that's really fun. And she's mature and she's strong as shit. And she's
Yeah.
this tiny little mighty woman that, yeah, and very coachable. So she makes it really enjoyable. So that's fun
Yeah.
too.
I notice I see a lot of older women, like doing pop bodybuilding, powerlifting, and all that
Yeah.
type of stuff. Like, wow. Like for you, like what's been how is it beneficial for you?
It's been really awesome in a lot of different ways. I can say
Yeah.
that it's really helped me kind of be a better person, honestly. It's taught me what discipline is and working for something and working really hard, even when it's not always rewarding, like immediate gratification. It taught me patience too.
Yeah.
And I really, man, I could just go on and on about all the ways it's helped me. It's helped me kind of overcome some disordered eating as well, and really learn to have a healthier relationship with nutrition and food and look at it as fuel and performance rather than being a villainizing aspect of my life.
Yeah.
So, but I really like the empowerment that comes from it. And I really like sharing that with other women that it's something that can be theirs and something that they can learn to gain some skills that help them carry over into their real lives. Like if you can lift heavy stuff and endure it for a long period of time and you're like, oh man, like I can do hard things, that carries over into their real life too. And so it just builds confidence and empowerment. So
Yeah.
I
What's
love
the
it.
heaviest you like squat or deadlift?
What's that again?
What's the heaviest you lift like squat or deadlift or even better?
Squat, my heaviest comp squat is 405, and that's at 154 pounds.
Yeah.
And my heaviest deadlift is 435. I've squatted heavier in the gym, but I just haven't managed to do it in the on the platform. I've hit like 430 in the gym for a squat, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool too. But
Yeah.
next year, I'll get to prove
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. When you say like it helps you discipline, it's almost like bodybuilding. Because I talk to bodybuilders and they
Yeah,
say the same thing.
yeah,
So
it's when you form discipline of like it just becomes your natural instinct to it's part of your routine, it's what you do. On the days you just don't feel that great or you're kind of beat up or you're tired or life is stressful, the discipline is there. You still show up and you get it, sometimes it's really surprising what you get out of your workout, um even when you just don't anticipate it going very well. Just showing up and getting through the door is the hardest part most of the time, and that comes at any level. Like you can be a beginner, an intermediate, advanced lifter. It doesn't matter. Like all of us face that. Like, it's the discipline of knowing that putting in the work now is going to produce a really good result later, and that's why I keep showing up. I know it's worthwhile and I get a lot out of it. Like even for my mental health, just showing up and getting a good workout in, I always feel better that I showed up and I gave it my best.
do you have days where you get stressed out at times?
Oh yeah, like I'm a pretty busy individual. Like I'm a powerlifting coach and help operate a gym with my partner, but I own a salon too, and
Yeah.
work there a couple of days. And I have a bunch of kids, and so yeah, like stress is like something that I've really had to work on managing, because it doesn't go away. Life doesn't stop, or you don't get to put pause on any of those stressors. And I just happen to have a lot of irons in the fire. And so I've had to really learn how to manage my stress. But discipline kind of comes along with that, right? When you're like a disciplined individual and you really have goals you want to achieve, you'll abide by these, standards that really kind of set you up for being the best. So you make better life choices, and like you don't go out partying or drinking or things like that. You really make choices that are going to set you up for the best performance in the gym. At least for me, that's what drives me to do it. So I really have to manage that stress. That's like kind of part of it. It's like if I don't manage that, it transpires negatively into the gym, and I don't want that. So I've worked
Yeah.
really hard in the last couple of years of working on the stress management thing.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's not easy all the time. Always George Page. Hey, what's going on, George? Evening, folks. And he has a question for you. What inspires you as a power lifter?
Oh man. What inspires me as a power lifter? I definitely love watching some of the greats achieve things. I love listening to stories of people overcoming adversities, and it really kind of helps me reflect on my own life and the hurdles that I've overcome to continue to do powerlifting. And so I think that continues to keep me to push forward, but also like I would say even more so my athletes. Like now being a coach, I can't imagine asking them to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. And so it keeps me more accountable, and they really inspire me. They show up for me and they show up for themselves, and they really put a ton of effort into everything they do. And so I think more than anything right now, I want to keep up with them, or some of them are going to get stronger than me, dang it.
Yeah.
So I think my own athletes really inspire me to continue to be a better power lifter, and continue to find ways to diversify myself as a lifter too, whether that's competing with wraps instead of sleeves or trying different feds. I really try to set the tone for them of how to do it, how to accept a challenge.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, yeah. Like 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 did you like say like how did you got started? Like what through your students?
No, I didn't. But
Oh,
I used to be a trail runner. I did kind of a lot of like I thought that was stress management at one point in time in my life,
Okay.
was like trying to be a runner, and I really hated it, but I wanted to see if I could do it. But I ended up getting like this hip injury, and it required some physical therapy. And so the physical therapist that I happened to see said, you know, you'd really benefit from some strengthening of your glutes and your quads, and just all the musculature around that area really could use some strengthening. And so I like walked right out of the physical therapist's office, and right next door was a gym. I lived in a really small town at the time. And so I was like, well, I'll just go in there. And the guy that owned it was awesome. His name was John. And I ended up doing some personal training with him for like 4 years, and we became like training partners. And I found out that I was really strong. And then one day, this college kid popped into the gym when I was training, and she was doing deadlifts, and like nobody was doing deadlifts in our gym, like ever. That like never happened. And she was like pulling like close to 300. And I thought like, holy shit, that's amazing. Like, I want to do that. And my coach John at the time was like, well, we can, you know, kind of goof around with that a little bit. He didn't know what the hell he was doing, but we gave it a try anyways. And I realized, like, you know, there was something to this. I really want to see if I can do this better. And so I Googled powerlifting gyms near me, and it popped up who's my now partner, Dave Osborne at Osborne Performance Systems. And so I contacted him and said, you know, hey, I want to give this powerlifting thing a try, and showed up there, and the rest is history. I've never left, and have just only kind of grown with the gym.
Yeah. You still have problems with your hips?
No, not at all. Not at all. I had a pretty significant injury a couple years ago that was, I would say, was definitely like kind of the gift of injury I experienced. It made me better and stronger, because I was kind of into powerlifting enough to where I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at this, and I've competed a couple times, and I'm really going to do something with this and push it hard, and made a lot of changes in my lifestyle. And then I got hurt. I fell down a waterfall in Hawaii, and ended up with, I was on vacation with my family, like not even powerlifting. Like, how lame is that? It was like such a bizarre accident. And I ended up with like severe nerve damage in my arm, and some atrophy after some treatment. And so that became like the biggest thing I ever had to kind of overcome with injury. And that took about 1.5 years. And I became a coach in that process. And actually that experience of coaching those couple kids and realizing like, oh, I want to do this. And, oh, I gotta, you know, being a coach means leading from the front and really, you know, putting in all the effort and doing it. So they kind of really helped me through that injury and made me push through it. It was awful and uncomfortable. And, but it was kind of I look at it as a gift. I became a way better powerlifter because of all the things I had to fix in the process of that rehab time. And there was only certain things I could do. I lost a lot of function in my left arm completely. And so I did a lot of leg training and butt training and back training. I was like, well, I could always just go to wellness, you know, bodybuilding if this doesn't work out. And, you know, I don't need a huge upper body for that. And so I was just kind of taking advantage of whatever time and efforts I could get out of training at the time. And it ended up just being the best thing ever. I became a much more resilient athlete and a well-rounded athlete, and started doing like a lot of plyometric jumping and just, focusing on core strength. It was nuts. It kind of just evolved into this really beneficial thing overall.
Yeah. He got a question. Have you ever done any competitions in powerlifting?
Yes.
Yeah, I was supposed to.
I have done, I think 9, actually. I want to say 10, but I think it's actually 9. And I am a elite lifter in 2 weight classes, the 148 class and the 165 class. And I have 4 world records in the 165 for squat, bench, deadlift in total. And I'm ranked 19th in the world for masters in the 165 class. So
I'm gonna ask you a silly question. You ever like thought about competing in Olympics if you can? I don't know.
Oh well, Olympics. There's no powerlifting in Olympics because there's
Yeah. Somebody told me that. I forgot.
yeah.
Somebody. I keep thinking that there's powerlifting there for some reason. Because when I
Olympic
was a kid,
weightlifting. Olympic weightlifting is in the Olympics, but
weightlifting.
not
Yeah.
powerlifting.
Yeah. I keep kind of like like confusing the two for some
So,
reason. I don't power lift or weight lift or anything like that. I've touched the
so-
weights, but not like that. So far as I got with weightlifting, I had like a trainer, and before, but you know that was a while back. Yeah, I could relate to you with the running and stuff. You trying to get better, improve on your endurance and stuff. But
yeah, I
so
thought it was just
you have to be careful because no, I was saying like after a while you get injuries, and
yeah. Well, it's a lot of
so the
repetitions and a
injuries
lot of
it do happen.
totally.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I quickly
Did
realized
you
that
like when you was running like did you
I couldn't hear
huh?
you. You broke up.
No, I was I'm sorry.
No worries.
Did you like when you was running when you was running like how many like on laps would you do
It
running?
was more like trail running where I live. There's a lot of mountains and
How many
hiking available.
laps?
Um, I wouldn't say
Oh,
laps. I'd say more like
oh,
miles, like
okay.
probably 6 miles at a time. And but
Oh,
it was just
okay.
really, it was kind of fun. It was it was fun to be out in nature and stuff doing that. But I really don't like cardio that much, which is probably why I don't
Oh,
like
okay.
I won't ever do bodybuilding.
Yeah, yeah. Seeing as you're a big anime fan, Monica, which one of your favorite? Oh, okay. I didn't even take a look at that. That's a good
Oh, that's so funny
observation.
because this
Have
is
you
actually
ever
my
thought about?
that's funny. That's my this is my boyfriend's office, so those are his animes. But my favorite is actually Berserk. So I have a guts tattoo on my bicep,
Sorry.
and that's probably my favorite anime.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's a lot of other good
I
ones.
do.
I'm not as into it as a lot of
Yeah.
other people.
You since he gave me that idea, like you could go as that girl, the android girl from Dragon Ball Z, if you like dyed your hair blonde.
I've done
Yeah,
cosplay before. My friend
yeah.
Chris McFan was a comic book artist, and so he was working at Comic-Con one year, and he was trying to promote a book that he had written and animated and stuff. So I dressed up as one of his characters, and that was really fun. Except for the fact that I had to wear this corset that felt like the life of me was going to be squeezed out of both ends. Like, and I had to wear it for 2 days straight. It was terrible, but it was. I love Comic Con. It was a fun experience. So that was great.
Yeah,
And I like art
yeah.
myself. So
George, he
you too.
telling me Android 18. Android 18. Yeah, yeah. He's
I'll have
really
to put that
into the
into
anime.
ChatGPT and
I
see
don't
what
care
it
too
comes
much
up.
about anime. Like in sports, like who's like your do you have like a favorite athlete that you like looking at or
Um, there's a couple
compete?
of athletes that I follow that I really appreciate their content and get a lot from it. Um, as far as like, there's even a couple of bodybuilders that I follow that I think are pretty fantastic. But I don't know if I have a favorite. I really admire Christy Hawkins, which she's a power lifter. She's also done bodybuilding too.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Brianni Terry is another one that's a power lifter slash bodybuilder too, that I really admire her work ethic and discipline. And I think they're pretty fantastic as far as like showing their ability to be versatile in multiple sports as well. And like, they're like the top of the top in our in powerlifting as far as for women's powerlifting goes. And I really admire them.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's some bodybuilders that they do powerlifting and they say
Mm-hmm.
that it helps it's good for the certain parts of their body and stuff. So
Totally. Like it creates really dense muscle that becomes really resilient and long term, and it's beautiful. So I think it's a wonderful attribution to the sport. It's kind of neat how those two sports have seemed to kind of coincide a little bit more in the last couple of years and really kind of help each other out. So bring more awareness and growth to both.
Yeah, I was looking at your YouTube videos, and one of the videos, it kind of like you was talking about the breathing, like when
Yeah,
you do squats. Yeah, I was
yeah.
looking at it.
When I that period of time I was telling you about when I got hurt and injured, when I started getting better and stronger and able to get under the bar, I started developing a lot of anxiety about squatting again, because anytime I had pulled a bar onto my back, the pressure on my trap would create a lot of nerve pain that still was kind of hanging in there, and it made me nervous to put weight on my back, even though I really was okay to do it. And so I hired a gal, a breath coach that I knew in town, and she worked me through a lot of different exercises that I could, breathing patterns and stuff that I could do while visualizing my lifts. And so that's kind of how I got introduced into breath work, and realizing that we have all these really cool tools that are just built into us already naturally that we have access to without having to use supplements or stimulants or anything like that to kind of gain control of our own person. So through that, learning how to deal with the like pre-training anxiety and using some breath work to do that, I also learned that it's a really good tool in stress management. And then I also learned that it was a really cool tool to like hype yourself up really quickly before a lift without having to get like, there's like this thing where it's like you get really aroused for the lift. You get excited and you get a big adrenaline rush. And sometimes like you sniff some smelling salts, and that, kind of gets you all amped up. And some people like shake the bar, whatever. But like that kind of energy, if you use that for a really long period of time, it kind of wears you out. And so like the idea behind using breath work to kind of initiate that hype and stimulus in your body to kind of prep you before the lift, you do it through a series of really kind of heavy in and out breathing. And so I just kind of learned that this tool was so well rounded, and I can use it in a lot of different ways in my life to kind of help gain control of the situation when everything feels kind of out of control. And breath work has been really a fun
it kind of it kind of reminds me of like yoga a bit, like with the breathing and stuff.
And
I was practicing that for a while. I would do like the breathings and stuff, like to just do the asanas.
Yep. And a lot of times I'll do it even when I'm just driving around in town, like traffic can be terrible or whatever. And it's like, instead of getting pissed off that traffic is bad or slow, I'll just start like some box breathing exercises that I'll start focusing on that, not the fact that I'm irritated at traffic anymore.
So, you ever thought about doing, I was going to ask, did you ever thought about doing like meditation? And I don't know.
Yeah, meditation is really great. There's, I guess I would call it or equate it to what I use as a technique called visualizations, which is, closing your eyes and really kind of visualizing yourself in the experience that you're practicing. So for me, I use it a lot for training. Like before a training session, I like to go through a series of lifts in my head and think about what it feels like in my body, think about like the technique and form I want to execute for the day. And there's a lot of, I think a lot of positivity in doing that, those meditations or visualizations when it comes to athletics, because it's mental practice, right? There are practice reps in your head. And when you get to the gym, you're much more prepared for that session, because technique is everything in powerlifting. The heavier it gets, it really matters a lot. You can be strong up to a point in barbell sports, but when it gets really heavy, like technique is really, you'll see it break down or you'll see it really excel. And so practicing those mental reps with visualization is a huge way to kind of set yourself up for success before you even walk in the gym.
Yeah. Well, all the race George Page says many bodybuilders have to be careful with bodybuilding because it can blow out their waistline. And he says,
I think he means like, that's funny. I think he means people have to be careful. Bodybuilders have to be careful in powerlifting to not blow out their waistline, because in powerlifting, you have to use a lot of bracing. That's a lot of core, and a lot of times that'll build up your waist. But a lot of times it's genetics too. So if you're a smaller waisted person, naturally, you're probably going to be fine doing powerlifters. There's women that are a little bit more longer torso or square through the waistline. They don't really have that taper, and that's where you kind of want to be worried about like building up your erectors or your lats too big to where it kind of makes your waistline look girthier, but it's just core strength, core building. But so I think, yeah, it just kind of depends on the person. But a lot of coaches really don't want them doing heavy squats or heavy deadlifts because of that, because the bracing will build the belt line or waistline.
Yeah. Is that what you teach your students? With the waistline?
Well, no, we are really enforce bracing a lot, and we use a belt in a lot of our lifting too, because yeah, having a nice small waistline is really great for bodybuilding, but for powerlifting, you kind of feel like a bendy straw when you have a tiny torso. So we're kind of a bigger fan of a little bit, thicker waistline, bigger erectors, big obliques, big lats. They make squats and deadlifts way more effective and less painful in the long run. Because it just becomes like a matter of physics.
Okay.
Like we have a
He
small weight,
says
leverage much.
many. Yeah, he says many.
Yeah.
Many bodybuilders have to be careful with powerlifting. It can blow out the waistline. Yeah. Well, I could show you in action on your
Sure, go
Instagram for a bit. Yeah, yeah. You gotta excuse me because sometimes my computer kind of go through technical difficulties. If you can't hear me or something, trying to get another computer, but oh boy, I have yeah. Yeah, so are you planning to have like a next competition?
I don't have anything planned yet. This is kind of a longer off season for me intentionally.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just been a lot of competitions back to back. So I probably next summer or fall.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yep, sure can.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I don't know. Because sometimes some people, they don't see it. It takes a while for it to pop up and stuff. Yeah, birthday workout. Okay. It was your birthday, huh?
Yep. I think I was in prep though, so it
What
wasn't that
what kind of
terrible.
music? What kind of music do you like to work out?
Oh man, notoriously at our
What
gym we
kind
have
of
really
music do you like?
we have bad music at our gym. On purpose. My boyfriend would say it's great. We have a good variety of all kinds of stuff. Like there's classic rock as well as like normal heavy metal stuff that you'd hear in any powerlifting gym, but we also have like some Disney and some heavy metal versions of other ballads and even some anime music. It's kind of a bizarre playlist, but we like it that way. Oh yeah, that was my prep for Cincinnati, all those videos. I just competed in Cincinnati in March. Yeah, that's my coach behind me, Dave. He's the owner of the gym. And yeah, it's kind of funny. Like when I look back at some of these, some of them feel like so long ago. My body and my physique has changed a lot, multiple times over the years, and so that's always kind of weird too to see. I used to love deadlifts. That was my favorite lift, but I think I like squats a lot more now. Oh, those are some of my athletes. They're getting ready for regionals. I've got a bunch of really awesome women to work with. They're so fun. Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You're muted on the screen. It shows your mic is muted. There you go.
I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it. I'm like, sure. I was asking you stuff,
Oh,
and
I couldn't hear
I didn't hear
anything.
no response. Because sometimes, because I'm like, sometimes it breaks out, and
Oh, bummer.
sometimes I was asking, yeah, I
I
was
couldn't hear
asking you
anything.
like, how long do you work out? Like, what's your
Oh,
workout when you're
um,
training and all
on
that? I
barbell
was like,
days.
wow.
Yeah, on barbell days where it's like deadlift, squats, bench, those are all about 2.5 hours probably. My
Yeah,
accessory days where I'm doing, just like dumbbell stuff or machines, box jumps, that kind of stuff. Those are about an hour, hour and a half. So pretty lengthy. And
okay. Let me
I
read Joe.
typically,
Oh.
oh, I typically,
No, that was the same question. Don't worry about it. It's
you're fine.
yeah. I think he has another question. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, like you like really train hard. Like, of course, you're
Yeah,
an athlete. You know.
fun. I also have kids, and I wanted
Yeah.
to set the tone for them too, and show them that you can be strong at any age, and kind of lead from example of like really to really prioritize, even if it's not powerlifting. It doesn't have to be powerlifting, but like prioritizing exercise, because it's a really important part of being a human. Like our bodies need to be moved, and keeps us healthy for longevity. And I think that's the other aspect I like about it too for coaching women is like I have a ton of women that don't compete, and I just coach them for strength and conditioning. And I really enjoy helping them have a better life. And like when they go hiking, they feel stronger. And when they, I mean, God forbid if someday they get older and they fall down, they have the strength to push themselves up off the floor. Like it becomes really a matter of like necessity, and really a important part of living. I'm a firm believer
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's like
I mean
I, I
that's good though. I mean,
I think it's really cool to see like
no,
how far
I was saying. Oh,
you can push yourself too, right? I think
I'm
that's
sorry. Yeah.
you're okay.
No, I was saying, women, especially when they get older, they don't want to go to like a nursing home or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I've seen a preview of those places, and it's
Yep.
like old people jail, especially if you're not
For
taking care
real.
of yourself.
I know. Maybe I should make that as part of my
So yeah.
take women on
Um,
tours of nursing homes. I prefer chalk. The only time I use grips is when
yeah. I'm sure they'll learn.
yeah, it would be a great way to show them their future, what they could do. For your question
Yeah.
on there, I prefer chalk over using straps. The only time I use straps is like if my grip is starting to fail, but I still have plenty of like ability to train in the tank. Sometimes my left hand kind of gives out first. It's the arm that I injured pretty severely, and so
Yeah.
sometimes it just kind of tuckers out
My
faster than everything else. But I still
my
want to get my work in.
computer's
But
acting up.
uh-oh.
Okay. Oh shit. It's another question. Do do your kids like to lift all the way?
Yeah. Yep, almost all of them do.
Okay. How many kids do you have?
5.
How many
But
kids
they're
do you
all
have?
I have
Like,
5 children,
oh,
but they're
five?
yeah. But they're all grown up now. So my youngest is 18, my oldest is 24. I had them all really
Okay.
close together, and I have a set of twins, so but
Oh,
yep.
oh. I'm assuming this was all before powerlifting,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
No,
I've
I
always
was
been
asking. I would.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I was always
No,
into
I was just saying. I'm assuming it was all powerlifting. I, I think my thing is breaking up. That's why we kind of keep
delaying.
colliding and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm sorry for that. Yeah.
No worries.
No, I was just I was just saying like I because what you're doing is really tough. You know, you're training people, and then you at times competing. I can imagine with the kids, it's a lot for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I definitely it took a long time till my kids were much older. They were like, late teens and before I really got to be able to start traveling for powerlifting and stuff like that. So it kind of really worked out. Like the first couple years were just a lot of really hard work anyways, and it wasn't much competing out of state or anything like that. It was just going to the gym. So that became more doable as my kids got older and in school and involved in sports themselves. But I definitely, yeah, now that they're all kind of graduated high school and adults, essentially, like it's a totally different world. And my flexibility and scheduling for training is a lot different. When they were little, it was really hard, and it was a matter of like if I wanted to go to the gym, I had to go like at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
I made it happen for a long time, but it like that was just me going to the gym as like a mom, like not as a power lifter, not as a coach, like just trying to get some exercise for myself. And so, but it's a whole nother level when you're talking about like competitive athletics, and it's not just a 45-minute workout, it's
Yeah.
over an hour, it's over 2 hours, it's that it becomes a lot longer. And so the accessibility to time to do that is essential, and it's hard when you have a bunch of little kids.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. My computer acting up. What any questions I got? Like, what do you do like outside of powerlifting?
A lot.
Like to relax or anything like?
I like to draw. I definitely do a lot of art and digital art, especially these days, because it's easy to pick up and put down. So I really enjoy drawing on my tablet and creating stuff like that and now I kind of find ways to incorporate that skill in with like creating our graphics for meets and t-shirts and stuff like that. But I enjoy drawing a lot, and I enjoy being outside.
Yeah, I think you drew that picture yourself. I don't
I
know
did.
on your Instagram.
I
Yeah,
did.
that looked cool. That
Thanks.
looked cool. I like that. That was cool.
Thank you.
I didn't know you did that. Wow, that's
Yeah,
cool. Wow.
thank you.
Why you never pursued like something like comic books or something?
I
You're
don't
not
know. I
really
didn't.
into comic. Well, I mean,
I
no.
do. I enjoy it, but I don't know. I didn't ever think I was like really good enough. And
Yeah,
so, and
yeah,
honestly, that talk about another thing that takes time. Like it's just like playing an instrument or anything else. It just takes a lot
yeah.
of time to do it. And so I think it's cool how technology has made it so much easier to just like create things really quickly, or with the digital apps and stuff that are out there nowadays. I still enjoy drawing, like pen and ink and on paper just as fine, but I think digital art is pretty cool too. I'm glad to have had the opportunity to learn how to do a little bit of that and kind of play around with it, because it's really fun. But yeah, so now I just do it for enjoyment, and if I need to do something that it's kind of cool to be able to have that tool in my toolbox to use it for things like marketing.
Yeah. What program do you use?
I just use Procreate. I really like, I got turned on to it by my tattoo artist several years ago showed me the app, and then he had all these really cool brushes that he could like download to me that didn't come with the standard app. And so I was like, oh wow, I'd used like a Wacom tablet and stuff before with other programs like Adobe Illustrator, and I hated it. So this was really fun and user friendly, and they had a lot of really cool tutorials on YouTube. So I've always used Procreate.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I used to do like Photoshop, and I draw too, but I like you. At times I stopped, and
yeah, you just have to stay. You just always have to be doing it, to be really good at it.
Durations, long duration, a picture.
Breaking up again.
Yeah. I'm sorry for this.
That's okay.
But can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to let you go.
No problem.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
I'm sorry for that. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. He said he wanted to ask this question. It's good that you found a passion for weightlifting. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Anything out. Yeah. Yeah. So let me let you go, because this thing, I can't like long periods of time. It starts acting up, but I really appreciate speaking with you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk with you.
You bet. Nice to talk with you too. Have a great night.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.